Today we're going to be talking about something that's been on my mind for a while, as per usual. We're going to be talking about, is a simple, humble, low-key life a happier life? Because I don't think I've given that kind of life very much credit. Like, when I was younger, I absolutely did not understand my mum. When I grew up wanting to be Hannah Montana. Okay, I grew up wanting to be a famous singer, actress, all of the above. Like, I grew up watching the top tier Disney Channel Nickelodeon shows, okay, and everyone in them was a singer. They were famous, they were doing all these big crazy things with their lives. I think that had an influence. That's what I wanted, okay? And I never understood when I said to my mum, don't you just like love the thought of being like a singer or being famous? And she was like, no, I can't think of anything worse. And I thought, there's something wrong with you, okay? There's something wrong with you, because life is not worth living if you're not famous and rich and you have this big public life, okay? I was young, okay? I'm not saying I had this mindset until like last week. This was very, very much in the past. However, now I'm like, I just want to like fucking like work in a little cafe. Like, I don't fucking want that. Like, I saw absolutely no appeal to a small, simple, wholesome life. I genuinely thought that's a waste of your one life. Like, that is a fucking waste. And these people just have no idea what they're doing, no goals, no ambition. They're just lazy. But as I've grown up, what I want for myself has obviously massively changed, like what appeals to me and what doesn't. I think my idea of a successful life is what's flipped on its head. You know, my definition of success and what would I feel I've had a successful life when I'm old, you know, what would that be? That has changed so much. And I think that is a big part of growing up, is you kind of realize what you actually want and like what actually matters. You stop kind of romanticizing shit. I feel like the smoke and mirrors of it all, you're very quickly exposed to the reality of what life is. And I think it very quickly humbles you into thinking, I'd be lucky to even just have a wholesome life with great people in my life, and, you know, enough money to go out for a glass of wine on a Tuesday evening. You know, that is something to consider yourself lucky for. But yeah, what I want has definitely changed. I think a few things have changed. One of them being, you know, the reality of growing up is you're chucked out of your warm, cozy, romantic delusion of what life is. You know, you realize you can't spend every single day of your life coloring in, doing hammer beads. Did anyone else do hammer beads? Please let me know. That was a time. You can't spend your whole life baking and doing all of this shit that I used to love to do. That's a luxury, and now that's what I do on a day off when it's raining and I have the luxury of some free time to bake a cake. Now I realize what I used to be doing all the time is what I want to do most. But when you're doing it, you just want to grow up. Like, I know this is such, like, everyone talks about this all the time, but like, you don't realize when you're younger that like you so badly want to be an adult, and then when you're an adult you realize when you were a child you were having like the most fun of your life, and now you would pay every penny to your name to have a week of doing what you did as a kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, walking the dog in fields wearing my wellies, my little pink sparkly wellies, like and now when I do these things as an adult, like now when I walk my dog in my wellies, which is rare, I rarely wear wellies, which is stupid because I should, considering I live in the UK, but that's why my shoes are wrecked. You know, now when I do those things, they bring me so much joy because it's what I did as a kid, and it's that like inner child thing where you're like, oh, this makes me feel like little me again. And I think the simplicity to that kind of joy, where you're just doing something purely because it's fun and you're just present and you're having a nice time, and they're some of the best moments that I have now as an adult, is doing that kind of shit. Like, sometimes more fun than I would have going out for drinks and like doing all these things that are like adult things that I couldn't have done before, you know. It's a a thing that you can only do when you're of a certain age. But still, I find more joy doing the shit I used to do almost every time. Like, there is nothing quite like the simple joy of baking cupcakes, listening to music, wearing fluffy socks. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we spend our adult life just desperately trying to like grasp back some of our childhood. I don't know that this is coming from a place of like, I'm very lucky to say I loved my childhood and I had a really nice childhood. And you know, my mum made a big effort for me and my sister to have a really nice childhood and to do these fun things. And I know that is, I'm very lucky to be able to say that. And some people probably can't relate to what I'm saying, which is very sad, because that's very common that people like didn't have a good childhood. So I you know, I'm aware that is kind of a luxury to be able to sit here and be like, oh, I had so much fun. Like, some people are like, I fucking hate my family, thanks, Brooke. Like, okay, I'm aware of that. Like, I'm very lucky in that way. Anyway, let's move on from talking about my childhood, because I don't really know how I got there. I feel like even now, ever since even just being like, what, 18, my mindset has changed a lot on how I want to live my life. But I don't know, I think we grow up and basically we just realize being happy is kind of enough of a task on its own without needing all these, like, if I'm not Hannah Montana, life isn't worth living kind of goals I'm randomly saying to myself. You kind of just realize, like, I just kind of want to be happy. I just kind of want to live a life that I love, be happy, do things I enjoy. And I'm not saying this in a way of be complacent, you know, drop all your goals, drop all your ambition, and just like have a nice time, and that's all you need to do. Like, if that's what you want to do, also, I don't mean to shit on that either. Like, truly do whatever the fuck you want with your life. I couldn't emphasize that enough. Just be nice to people, but like, other than that. But like, I don't know, I feel like now it's like, it's more like finding a way to keep that drive and ambition and that side of me, but to not make my whole life like, I'm not happy until I do this, I'm not happy until I do this, I need this, I need this, I need that. Like that, you're never really going to be happy, and we know that. Like, the post is always moving, so you think you're getting close to it and it's moved on another mile, and that just happens and happens and happens. Like, that mindset will never really get you to happiness, you know? And I think as I grow up, I'm learning more and more and more about like what I want, and probably what I'm saying now I'll have more to add in like another year. Like, it's always going to be changing. But I think for me, it's like I said, drive and ambition, these are great things, and without those things I wouldn't be happy, because I am someone who, I love to work towards things, and I love to have like an aim. And I think generally as people, we do need a focus and something to work towards a bit. Otherwise, I think we feel a little bit lost, and we get a little bit like bored, and we don't know what to do with ourselves. And you know, maybe that's just me, but I feel like maybe that's also just people, I don't know. But I feel like one thing I've kind of realized growing up is like, okay, how can I keep that drive and ambition, but also be grateful and be present and just enjoy my life? Because I feel like you don't really want to be one way or the other. I'm kind of talking about myself here, but like, maybe this is more general than just me, I would assume. Like, living in a place of constant drive and ambition, you know, you're always on the go, you're not in the moment, you're not going to be super grateful, super present, super happy, because I believe happy and being present kind of go hand in hand. I don't think you can be super happy if you're like always thinking 5 years ahead, always in the future. However, having too much of like everything is about right now, and I have no focus, I think that you feel a little bit too lost, and you feel a little bit like, what the fuck is the meaning of life? I feel like you're prone to an existential crisis if you don't have any sort of like aims for yourself. They don't have to be career goals. I think I've talked about this before, but like, by ambition, I don't mean you just have to be like, I want this job and this is my 5-year plan. That, you know, it could be anything. It could be like, I want to be able to like cook this certain dish in a year. Like, that is really hard to make, and that's, you know, just some sort of fucking goal for yourself. I don't give a shit what it is. But I feel like for me, a balance between those things has been quite hard to find. Sorry, I've completely changed topic. I don't know what I'm even meant to be talking about right now, but I'm just going to carry on. I think finding a balance between those two things is what, for me, that's kind of been like what my young adult life has been. A lot of it so far is like, there's things I want, there's places I want to go, there's things I want to do, but I can't spend every waking moment of my life thinking about those things because I'm also 21 and I want to see my friends and I want to go on holidays and I want to do other fun shit. And I think it is about finding a balance between those things, where you're happy, you're content, but you're going somewhere. You got aims, you've got goals, you've got passion and drive towards something, but you're enjoying the moment you're in. That's kind of like the golden little sweet spot that's like, it's not so easy to find really, but life is all about balance. I think you don't want too much of anything, too much, it's all about finding these sweet spots, and they're always quite hard to find. It's always a little bit of like a juggling situation. But I think when I was younger, like I was saying, I was always like, I need this, and now I'm like, okay, let's slow down. And also, maybe we don't need as much as we think we need. Maybe that's not what I want anymore. Maybe now my values have changed. I assume they would from when I was 12, but my values have changed. Again, my definition of a successful life has changed. It now does not revolve around having a certain job at all. That's really not something I think success has to come from for myself, Like, would I love to have a job that I'm passionate about and that doesn't feel like work? Of course I would. But also, do I think I'd be perfectly happy having a job that I like and that I enjoy, and maybe it's more of a 9 to 5 situation and it's not something I'm like passionate about, go to bed dreaming about, But, there's perks to having that kind of lifestyle too, where your work is your work and you keep it that way. And then outside of your work is where the flavor, the passion, the, everything else comes in. And also, I've heard a lot from people that I watch their YouTube videos or listen to their podcasts and whatever, that say when your passion is your job, quite often it ruins the passion. And I don't think that's the case for everyone, but I'm just trying to point out that like, it's not there. I don't think anymore that there's like, when I have this job I'll be happy, when I have this I'll be happy, because now I feel like people are a lot more honest and a lot more transparent about, hey, I have that and it's not all that it's made up to be. Do you know what I mean? These singers and shit that I used to like have on a pedestal of being like the happiest, best people in the world, now come out and say, all the darker sides of the job and the mental health and how it's not at all what we thought it was. I feel like now, with everyone having a voice on the internet and everyone being so transparent about what they're doing and how they feel and what they think, like, I honestly think every single human being on the planet should have a podcast. I think that'd be so interesting because everyone has shit to say, Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, I think now it's like you're in a position where you realize whatever you do, whatever path you take, there's pros and cons. And like, nothing really belongs on that pedestal other than a happy life that fulfills you and makes sense to you. And it can be as simple as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be this extravagant life that everyone sees. You could have a really private life and be such a happy person with so many things to be grateful for and so many great people in your life and so many things you're interested in. You could be overflowing with like love for your life and no one could know about it, And I think now I define a successful life for myself as a rich life. And I'm not obviously talking about money. I mean a life that's full. A life that's full of joy and passion and great people and great relationships with the people in my life and a great relationship with myself. A life that just feels like in all the little pockets, all the little spheres, like relationships, work, love, I don't know, all of them. I've got something I'm happy with in all of them, And even that feels like a big ask. And it is like, you're lucky to be able to say that if that's your life. And to be honest, I feel like I have that now. I don't feel like there's like, in 5 years, in 10 years, I'm gonna, like, right now I would say I have a full life that fulfills me and I'm happy with and I love, and I wake up happy with my life. You know, am I in a relationship that's really fulfilling? No. Do I live in the apartment I want to live in? No. Do I have the money that I want? No. But this is what I mean by, like, I have things that I would like to have, and I do have goals for myself and places I'd like to be, you know, certain things that I want, you know. I have lots of ideas for my life, but I don't need them all right now, and that would be boring if I just got handed them, you know. I like the fact that life is a little bit about working towards shit. I enjoy the process, but like, I don't feel anymore like if I don't do X, I failed. You know, if I don't do X, my life wasn't a success. I don't feel like that with anything anymore. I'm honestly just excited to be here. Like, I'm just excited to have a life. And also, I think we only have so many emotions in the spectrum of our emotions. Like, I think I saw Emma Chamberlain, my queen and icon, talking the other day about the same thing, and she was saying, like, with her career, she's always thought, like, when this happens, I'm gonna feel like a new level of joy that I've never felt before. Like, when I reach this goal, it's gonna be like a new high that I've never reached. And every time it's like, it just hits the top and like, it's not going above it, because it's like, there's only so much. Your happiest happy is still only your happiest happy. Does that make any sense? And to have a life where you think about all these different achievements that you want to make, having them and thinking, like, when I have that, I'm going to be this, and when I have that, I'm going to be this. It's like, you realize, like, happiness is happiness, and like, there isn't anything that's going to magically make you feel something you've never felt before. I don't know, I think a lot of growing up is realizing the 46-year-old Italian woman living in a little town in Italy, working in a cute bakery, and, you know, who goes swimming in the sea on the weekend and has 3 dogs, is just as happy, if not more, than like Beyonce in her mansion with Jay-Z doing whatever the fuck she's doing. She's on tour. So, you know, happiness is so subjective, and it's so personal, and it's so like abstract. And I think growing up is realizing that, you know, it is whatever it is to you, whatever you want it to be, really. It's not something in particular that is to be reached. It's just in you. Like, that sounds so fucking cringe, but it's just like a state of mind. It's kind of just the way you live your life, and how you choose to live it, I feel like, is more, how do you choose to live your life every day? How do you choose to look at things every day? What is your perspective? Like, I feel like that is what it all comes down to. And I feel like for me, it's, you know, focusing less on these big moments, these big goals, these big like milestone things. I feel like it's become less about focusing on those moments and more about curating a life that I want to come home to. Do you know what I mean? Curating a life that fulfills me and that I feel cozy in and excited about, and it doesn't have to make sense to other people, and it won't. Like, my idea of that and yours will be different. They might be similar, they might be really different, I don't know. But I feel like if you're focusing more on just curating that for yourself, you're gonna get somewhere with that. Do you know what I mean? That's where you're gonna make progress. If you're always trying to reach for things, and especially material things, that kind of stuff, it's just, again, it's that thing, like, the pole is always going to be moving and you're never quite going to reach it, and you'll get these little hits of joy. But like, to curate like a stable, wholesome, simple life, I don't know, I feel like that for me, I'm seeing a lot more appeal in that these days. Maybe I sound like 58 and I'm like turning into a grandma already, but like, I kind of just want to like have a coffee and a little pastry in the morning, and like go on a walk in the crisp air with a scarf on. Like, I just want to do that, you know, and come home and like bake a banana bread and put some chocolate chips in it and curl my hair and go out for dinner. This is the kind of shit I do. And like, I feel so fulfilled by my life. I don't ever sit around thinking like, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Like, obviously sometimes there's times where I'm like, fuck, like, why is everything so expensive? I still get frustrated with things, but I kind of just like, I feel like I'm in a state of gratitude these days where I'm like, I'm so happy with what I have, like, that I'm not going to sit around and let it ruin my mood that I don't have something else, you know. And like I said, I think the key is balance. I do like to have a to-do list for my days most of the time. That's kind of just how I'm wired. I am quite type A. I'm never gonna be a super go with the flow kind of gal. That's never really gonna be me. I am someone who likes to be very fucking organized, and like, you know, if you asked me what I was doing in 3 Wednesdays ahead, I could probably look at my calendar and tell you. Like, that is who I am. And to some people that's like truly hell, and I'm aware of that. Some people are like, what the fuck, I just want to wake up and like see how I feel. And sometimes I do that, but to an extent, do you know what I mean? Like, I give myself, like, maybe I would put in my calendar, go with the flow this morning, and then this afternoon we've got stuff to do. And it's like, I'm going with the flow, but I plan to go with the flow. That's me. That's me, okay? But I am perfectly happy with that. Okay, I have no issue with that. My life works perfectly for me. Okay. I'm not the gambler type. I'm not, we'll see what happens, we'll see where I end up. I'm not the gambler type. I like to be quite fucking intentional because I don't like risk. Okay, I don't like risk. I don't like giving up control, relinquishing control to the world on what my life is going to be and how I'm going to feel, you know. I'm very much in the driver's seat of my life. Hence probably why I enjoy my life so much, because I've created a life that I want. I'm not just sat on my ass. Not that if you're a go with the flow person, you're sat on your ass, but like, you know, you could be. However, I am very intentional about adding this softness into my life, you know. I like a structure, I like a plan, but it's not like a harsh like plan. It's like I do make sure to like have days where I'm not, my to-do list is like one thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like up my own ass every day about stuff. But I am very intentional about adding that softness into my life. I do it on purpose. I know it makes me happier, and I make a conscious effort to like slow the ship down. Do you know what I mean? I do that on purpose. And it's not necessarily natural to me. I think in the last year or so, I've really started prioritizing slowness, softness, rest, trying to like work on actually letting myself fucking rest. Like, that took me a while. I'm still so shit at that. And you know, I want to simplify my life more and more and more and more. And that is kind of where I've been at recently, is like, how can I make it even simpler? How can I make it even simpler? Because like, I just cannot be fucked these days. Like, I just want to have a simple, soft, gentle little life where I'm bumbling about in my own little bubble, doing what I enjoy, working towards my goals, enjoying the present, doing a little mix of everything, and just like, I don't know, I think I mind my fucking business. And I don't really talk to that many people on a daily basis. Like, honestly, I could probably count them on one hand. Like, I like to keep things simple in my life at the moment. And I think it's just, I don't know, it hit me the other day that like, this life that I'm in right now, this simple shit that I'm talking about, is exactly what I used to say to my mum. Like, how could you even want that? You know? It's the classic, like, you grow up and you fucking turn into your mum, where I'm like, shit, I get what she means. Like, this is nice. Like to have this balance and to enjoy the smaller moments and the simple moments and to be present and shit. Like, oh my god, this is like, this is so this is so nice. And a way that I slow my pace I'm going at, you know, I try and soften it. The ways that I do that is I try not to overload my plate too much. I try not to give myself an unrealistic amount of things to do. Like, I feel like I look at myself now a lot more like a human being, and I'm like, we're not put on this earth to fucking work. Like, go to yoga, go have a swim, you know, fucking enjoy yourself, Brooke. You know, I prioritize things like walking, going on walks, listening to my podcast, going to yoga, having a bubble bath, having movie nights with my friends where we like make pizzas and shit. Like, I prioritize doing these things that just slow it all down and you're in the moment and you're just having a nice time. Like, these are very important to me. Okay. I think it took me a while to kind of find the rhythm of what works for me. And, you know, right now I think I found it. Obviously, it's always going to change. Like, the rhythm I'm in right now in like a year is probably going to be different. Maybe it'll be even more simple. Who knows? I don't know how that's possible, but maybe. I feel like a good way of describing it is I feel like I've deducted the amount of sections on my pie chart of my life. Do you know what I mean? It used to be like the sections were quite small. There was quite a lot going on. I was quite fucking like frazzled all the time. And I feel like now I'm like, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Like, what do we actually need? What actually makes us happy and what has a point to it? What do I need to do and what do I want to do? And everything else can just like get out for a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'll revisit certain things that in future, like, I'm always kind of questioning what I'm doing, you know. But right now, I feel like I have enough on my pie chart where I'm being productive and I'm working towards what I want. And I feel rewarded by the fact that I'm working towards what I want, you know. I'm confident in that I'm taking steps in the direction of where I want to go, you know. But at the same time, I'm taking care of myself. I'm moving my body, you know, exercising, seeing my friends, spending time alone, getting better at like saying what I want and doing what I want and setting boundaries and all of this. And, you know, I'm still working towards what I want, but in a different, less aggressive manner. Do you know what I mean? Is it possible to have too simple of a life, though? Yes, I think it is. You know, I follow this girl on Instagram. I don't know if I actually still follow her. I quite often, again, simplify. I go through and delete a fuck ton of people I follow all the time. But there was this girl that I followed on Instagram because I just thought it was cool. And she, like, just lived in this, like, ranch thing in the woods and like was completely self-sufficient, and like everything she used or ate or anything, like she made it in her garden. Absolutely everything. Her soap, her food, her everything, or like her plates were made out of like her fucking trees. Like, I just thought it was really cool. And this came to mind when I was thinking, like, is that too simple? Like, for me, I think I'd struggle with that kind of lifestyle where I've completely removed myself from like society. However, like for her, she couldn't look happier, you know? And I think it's interesting to know what else is out there and other ways that people are finding what works for them, because it isn't like there is just one way to have a happy, fulfilling life for yourself. And I feel like growing up, like you do think like, well, I'm gonna, I don't know, have money and have kids and have a family and a really cool job and blah blah blah. And I feel like now it's like with the internet and shit, like you just see like all these different avenues of ways people are living their lives, and a lot of them are quite simple and soft, and I feel like that lifestyle has become quite appreciated. I feel like people now, obviously there is a lot of content and stuff on Instagram that is very like my routine, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I do this and I do that, and there is a lot of that still. And again, like that, because that is someone's happiness. I don't think it's as many people's genuine happiness as it looks like it is, but some people, that's what works for them. And, you know, then do it. But I think I like that there's also a lot of people that are like, here is my 9 till 5. I do my 9 till 5 and then I come home and I cook myself a dinner and I have a glass of wine and I go on a walk with my friend and I'm perfectly happy. Like, I don't know. I don't think you need a ton of shit to have a happy life. I think it doesn't have to be something impressive and extravagant. It can be whatever the fuck you want. You can live on a farm and make your own soap like she does. And she seems absolutely in love with her life. And I think that's kind of why I followed her, because I was like, I'm obsessed with how obsessed she is with her life. Do I want to live this life? No, maybe for a week it would be cool, but then, you know, I enjoy going out for dinner. I enjoy restaurants. I enjoy meeting new people. However, like, there is a big part of me that just wants to like buy a horse and move away and like fend for myself, you know. I do have like fantasies of just random shit that I'm like, I could literally do that. No one's stopping me. No one could stop me from doing that. Anyway, but you know, back to my question, is there too simple of a life? Yeah, I think it is possible to be understimulated by your life. You know, having a lack of novelty, a lack of purpose, a lack of focus. I don't think that necessarily looks like what I just described though. Like, you don't have to like live in the middle of nowhere to be someone that's like could potentially be understimulated by their life. I think if you live in a normal town or a normal city or just wherever, and just maybe work a job you don't like, or you spend a fuck ton of your time on your phone watching TV, scrolling on your phone, that could potentially be a life that's kind of understimulating, like, because you're not filling it with enough shit that like actually excites you and fills your cup up. Do you know what I mean? Or if you don't really have many passions, that can be just as uncomfortable and monotonous and unfulfilling, you know? I think it comes in different forms, but I think it's subjective as fuck. Like, it comes down to the individual completely, and like, are you excited by your life? Are you fulfilled by your life? That's all that matters. That's literally all that matters. Because living a simple life doesn't mean living a life that's boring to you. It's more about living a life that fulfills you without all of the distractions and noise that isn't needed. Do you know what I mean? It's just about existing in a way that you love. And I feel like cutting out the shit that doesn't need to be there, that's distracting you from what you actually love and what actually makes you happy, is key. Like, a simple life, I don't mean cutting like everything out. I mean cutting it down to the shit that actually matters and I actually want there. You know, rather than have, like I said, all those sections on the pie chart, like spending loads of time on my phone. Fuck off. That's a waste of my time, and it doesn't belong on my pie chart. It doesn't make me happy. Get off my pie chart, bitch. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I probably do these things, but like, they're not enough of the time to have a section on there. You know what I mean? It's just about narrowing it down and kind of like pruning. Like, is that what it's called when you prune a plant? You're like cutting off the dead leaves so that it's healthier. It's like pruning your life, like cutting out all the distractions and random shit that you spend time and energy on that doesn't actually do anything for you. Pruning it down to like an actual life that fulfills you. Quite often that is fairly simple, because at our core we don't need a lot, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna head home. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it was interesting. And thank you so much for watching as per usual, and I will talk to you next week.